present the Lifetime Achievement Award.
Excuse me while I put my glasses on. Okay, thank you. Great attendance tonight, and thanks everybody for coming out. My name is David Estrada, as I mentioned too many times tonight already. I serve as the Vice President of the Board of Directors of what is now called SCIboston. I was injured in a motorcycle accident in 1995 and had a visit while I was in the hospital in Boston by someone from what was then known as the Greater Boston Chapter of the National Spinal Cord Injury Association, now SCIboston. The chapter helped me find a wheelchair-accessible dorm room at Northeastern University so that I could finish my undergraduate degree and get back to some normalcy in my new life living with a spinal cord injury. I never forgot this help from the chapter and have been involved with the chapter ever since. This organization, now known as SCIboston, truly has a special place in my heart. On April 16, 2012, while I was serving as the executive director of the Greater Boston Chapter, I received an email from an individual who said that in 2002, he had been struck by a boat while kayaking in Narragansett Bay, Rhode Island, resulting in a spinal injury that caused temporary paralysis. He indicated that he was planning a fundraising event and was interested in naming our organization as his charity of choice. He wanted the funds to go to individuals who needed help purchasing durable medical equipment. A few more emails and a phone call. After a few more emails and a phone call, he sent an email with the details of his event. This is what that portion of his email said. On September 22nd, 2012, I plan to swim from Point Judith, Rhode Island to Block Island. The distance between the 2 points is approximately 10 miles, but the swim through international waters of the Atlantic Ocean will be roughly 13 miles because of the strong currents. Further, I plan to swim the entire distance backstroke. Under normal conditions, I expect the swim will last 6 to 6.5 hours. I'm in the process of developing my team, which includes captain, a boat, crew, kayakers, oceanographers, media outlets, a website designer, television news coverage, and a local and regional newspaper coverage. And I would like to discuss the possibility of adding the National Spinal Cord Injury Association to the team. My objective is to raise $50,000 at this one-time event. I ran the idea past our board of directors, and everyone gave their blessing to go ahead and sign on to this event. I met him at a coffee shop and quickly realized that he had a vast network of friends, family members, and co-workers who were willing to help him reach his goal. In a short time, a website was created, and the event was called Back to Block. He sent out regular training and fundraising email updates, often joking that individuals who donated a certain amount of money could be on one of the boats following him during his swim and throw chum in the water. He also made and posted videos showing himself eating an entire pizza or an entire cake in preparation for his swim because he wasn't going to wear a wetsuit in the cold water and he was going to be burning a massive amount of calories during the swim. The night before the swim, I drove down to Point Judith from Boston and stayed in a hotel. The next morning, I met his family at the Point Judith Lighthouse to wish him good luck on his swim. For a somewhat warm day in September, he was ready to go and had lathered his entire body with some sort of white sunscreen-like substance, which looked like lard to me. And the thought crossed my mind that there's a good possibility he's going to be eaten by a shark. I then watched him say goodbye to his family and enter the water and start swimming towards Block Island. I then joined the rest of the family and friends for a 45-minute ferry ride over to Block Island, where we would await his arrival on the deck of a beachside hotel overlooking the water, where he was due to arrive. 8 hours later, on a beautiful September day, he emerged onto the beach with all his limbs still intact. He had run into large swells during his swim due to the remnants of Hurricane Leslie, but managed to finish the swim and was in great spirits. He spent the rest of the day enjoying the celebration with family, friends, and others who had come to greet him after his amazing accomplishment, as well as meeting his fundraising goal. What I didn't realize then was that Trent Theroux's one-time swim from Point Judith to Block Island would turn into 3 more epic swims at different locations. On November 14th, our past president, Larry Brennan, sent me another email saying that he had lunch with Trent, and Trent wanted to do another swim. In September 2015, Trent embarked on his second swim called Back to Newport, where he swam 41 miles around Aquidneck Island in Newport, Rhode Island, finishing his swim with many swimmers who joined him at various points along the way in a Coast Guard escort after midnight. After Trent's second swim, he sent out an email entitled Sights and Sounds, sharing his experience during the epic swim. These are a few things that Trent had to report. I started making deals with myself during the swim. I told myself that if I could get to Common Fence Point, I would get out, have Haley bring me my sneakers, and I would run the last 16 miles to the finish. Seriously. The Misquamicut River wouldn't let me in. I swam on the doorstep for nearly 20 minutes, waiting for the water to slow down. Breathing to my left, I saw a lonely tree in the nature preserve. 30 strokes later, I was staring at the same tree. 300 strokes later, I was thinking it was time to cut down that goddamn tree. 16 hours, 20 minutes, 11 support boats, 22 angel swimmers, 31 feedings, 12 menu items, 2 drinks, and a beer, in scope, and Trent had finished his second swim. In August 2018, Trent attempted to swim the English Channel, but his endeavor was cut short due to weather conditions. He still managed to raise much funds for the challenge. September of last year, Trent embarked on his 4th swim called Back to Rhode Island, where he swam 20 miles from Long Island to Rhode Island. In total, Trent has raised over $200,000 over his 4 swims, which has provided the funding for our grant program since its inception in 2013. We have provided funding for wheelchair ramps, stair lifts, shower chairs, vehicle modifications, mattresses, and beds, just to name a few. We have recently increased the amount of grant money available from our grants from $2,500 to $4,000 per applicant. Trent exemplifies the type of person who appreciates the fact that in a blink of an eye, anyone's life can change, for better or for worse, and it's what you do about it afterwards that defines you. Many of us in this room have had to redefine our lives due to the nature of our spinal cord injury. But it's not only us that are affected by that change. Our family, friends, and others within our social networks often have to redefine themselves in order to support us. Although Trent made a full recovery, he never forgot what happened to him in 2002 and has given back to the community he cares about time and time again. And for this reason, Trent Theroux deserves this Lifetime Achievement Award.
wrote to me and he said, Trent, we want to give you a really big award on April 1st. Sure. I guess I'm the fool. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. The first thing that people say to me following somebody swims is, what's next? What's next? And my response after the swim I had in September was, I just went 20 miles. Can I get a beer first, please? Before we have to get through this question of what's next? And the second thing people say to me is, Trent, you're an inspiration, or it took such courage, and you were brave. And I shake my head because I don't feel any of those things. Brave is the look you give your doctor when you hear the first time that you're not going to get out of the chair. And courage is what you share with your physical therapist when she asks for one more and you both know it's going to hurt. And inspiration is when you change your job because you're fitting the new you. You are brave. You are courageous. You are the inspirational. You are the reason that I want to give of myself. You're the reason that I give my time and my effort and much of my reason for being. And to you, I'm thankful for the opportunity. There are a lot of people I'm very thankful to. We met some of them tonight. You know them. Obie Harrington Howes, who was one of the most suave gentlemen I've met in my life. Ryan DeRoche, who was an absolute wizard in putting together our plan for last year. Doug Fry, who came when we came home from England. Our flight was a few hours delayed, and Doug was waiting for us at Logan for us to land. And seeing a warm face. Beth Weaver, who's not here tonight. And my dear friend, Dave Estrada, who accepted my challenge when I first met him. And I described what I want to do. I want to swim backstroke as a sign of solidarity for people in the spinal cord community. And his words were, are you effing nuts? Quite possibly. Quite possibly. I want to thank my very soon-to-be bride-to-be, Penny Tremblay. And she affirmed her wish to still marry me after my answer to her question was, but they're just little sharks around. They're the not-so-great white ones. My daughter, Haley, who is my Dean of Details. As a millennial, any question that I've had, she can answer like, and for those doctors between ages of 30 and 38, she has a graduate degree from Columbia in healthcare administration. She would love to meet you. She would love to. Someone who's not here tonight, Haley's mother, whose name is Jennifer, who fixed me when I was broken and put the wind beneath my sails to help me go forward on these swimming challenges. But the person I want to introduce you to tonight and let you recognize as part of my team is my son, Max Theroux. Max has a weak stomach. He can walk from the living room into his bedroom and get nauseous, which is pretty fortunate that we had a bathroom between the two growing up. So it worked out good. We would take car rides with Max, and Max's seat was behind me, the driver, and we kept empty Shaw's bags there. So in case people were dead, we could stop and pull and take care of business, and it was great. When Haley got old enough to hold the bag for her, and I said, what a great sense of maturity when Max should grab the bag for himself. I thought we were moving on in the world. A few years ago, we went to go swim in the English Channel. We called that back to Britain. We were originally going to swim backstroke, but when we got there, we learned that the waves and the tumult were just too violent. There was nobody going. The pilot said, can't go, can't swim, not going to make it. It was our last day to be there, and I said, we're going today. Well, today is our day. And so we went to swim. And I should say, I was ready for this thing. I had to gain 25 pounds. I spent hundreds of hours in the weight room. I spent thousands of yards and miles in the open water. I had to spend hours submerged in sub-6-degree water to acclimate myself. I was ready for this swim. Except, who eats bangers and mash on the morning of their big swim? Seconds. This dumbass. And so we went for the swim, and as I'm swimming, I noticed that one of my friends is missing, and Haley is now missing, and the Max is missing, and they had conveniently gone to the other side of the boat for which, unfortunately, I followed. And I was sick for about 2 hours while I was trying to swim, and ultimately I couldn't go anymore. And I got onto the boat, and I'm watching the white cliffs of Dover as we came back, and I'm in tears. Because I sang to myself, I failed. I absolutely failed. And it's my son Max who asked me, Dad, what was your goal? And I let that percolate. My goal was to raise money for the folks in this room, the organization in this room. It's during the deepest and darkest moments that I have of weightlifting or training or something that I think about the people in this room, the people that I thanked. And I said it was to raise the money. He goes, you're right, Dad. You didn't fail. And he was right. We came to this last swim in September, and Max was the first one that said, Dad, I want to be on the boat with you. I go, hey, buddy, remember the last time? I want to be on the boat with you. I said, okay, you're on the boat. Take double Dramamine. And so we're leaving Montauk Harbor, and our boat, big 35-foot boat, dual engines, and the engine broke. And so we're ready to swim. It's time. We have tides to go. All right, pitter patter. Let's get at it. We have to go. And so there was a skiff, a 13-foot raft that somebody was steering, and Max got on the front of. And they came out to meet me. And every 30 minutes, Max fed me. And the wind that day was a little bit different. We planned for the wind to come from the south, because it always comes from the south in the summer. But for some reason on that day, why wouldn't it? It started coming from the north, and so we had 4-foot swells every 6 seconds. And so I'm swimming like this, no problem. But every time I'm breathing, I'm watching this boat, this 13-foot skiff, bang, 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 and I'm watching Max in the front of it. And the 3 words that came to me, my son is brave, my son is courageous, my son is inspiring me right now to keep swimming. And I did. Made it through. We made it through that day. We both got sick that day. All right, but we won't talk about that too much. And then, for the last mile, he jumped in the water and swam and finished with us. And so, folks, I am grateful to be standing here in front of you and sharing this magnificent award on April Fool's Day. I wouldn't be here without my team who I've named. But besides your bravery and courage and inspiration, my son is one other thing that I want to thank him for. It is the most kind gentleman I've ever met. I love him dearly, and he should be here with me. Thank you, my son, Max. I really appreciate the honor tonight. I'm deeply moved. I want to thank you all. I hope to have continued involvement with this magnificent organization. It motivates me to want to do more and better. Thank you very much for your time.
I think this is on now. Can you hear me? Great. Trent, thank you so much. $200,000, more than $200,000 raised for durable medical equipment. I'm sure there are individuals in this room that have benefited from your fundraising and swims. We greatly appreciate it. I mentioned I had a special announcement to make. You know, after Trent came ashore, he told us that this is probably my last swim. I don't think I can do any more. We said, that's great. We still have some money. We have plenty of money now left from the back of Rhode Island. But what happens down the road? You know, how do we keep this program going? Because so many people benefit from it. And about the same time, we're having conversations with Arthur Page, who's chair of the Travis Roy Foundation Board of Trustees, and Lisa Kilt. And I think most people know the Travis Roy Foundation story. They're winding down based on Travis's wish to, you know, not burden his family, and they've created a couple of great endowments for Spalding and Shepherd. And they came to us and said, hey, is there anything we could do to help you? You know, they'd heard Trent's story, and they announced that we'd like to donate $50,000 additional in honor of Trent and his swims going forward. So, thank you very much. And lastly, within the last 3 or 4 weeks, we've heard that Travis Roy's cousin, Brendan Collins, is going to continue his wiffle ball tournament in Vermont, which was hugely successful. And we have been named as the charity of choice to benefit from those proceeds for this year and the foreseeable future. So Trent's legacy of our grant program with Travis's support will continue to live on. So we're very lucky. So thank you very much.